let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 10 at Belmont Park on Jockey Club Gold Cup Saturday is the Grade 2 Sands Point Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. Let's take a peek at this field. We're going a mile on the Widener turf course. The 3 Selflessly is your 2-to-1 morning line favorite based on her rallying victory in the Grade 3 Lake George. But Chad Brown is a very intriguing French invader, the number one Tamahir.
Yeah, that horse is very intriguing. We'll see how the betting all shakes out, Dan. It just sort of feels like the 3 horses drawn to the inside, who are the 3, favorites on the morning line at comparable prices. It just kind of feels like they're the 3 best horses in this race.
Pure Wow, the 7, though, might be the best pure speed as we take a look at the time form U.S. pace projector. And, of course, Tamahir, the number 1, lacks pace data racing in Europe. But Pure Wow, we know, likes to be on the early lead. That's where she's been in her last 4 races. I think stamina and class come into question.
Yeah, it's questionable whether she's good enough to beat a field like this. And it's not, a super strong stance point either, Dan, but it's still questionable whether she's good enough, even if she manages to make a clear early lead in here. And it will be interesting to see where Tamahir is the number 1, because based on her last 2 races in France, she could very well be forward in this race.
That's a really good point, Mike, because watching that last race, especially the Prix La Sorellina, and I realize it was over soft turf, but she got right up close to the leader, sort of pressing the pace from the 2 path. Once she made the lead, she put the hammer down on that field. She won as she pleased, like a real nice stakes horse. Chad's had her for a little while here. You see a bit of an interruption in the work tab, which you never like, but you trust Chad off layoffs. And again, this horse seems to have some tactical speed.
Yeah, she certainly showed it in her last couple, especially. You're right about her last start, Dan, where she just kept right up close, loomed behind the leader in that race the entire way, and then won that race as easily as it looks like she did on paper. I mean, she just blasted that field in the stretch. Even her race 2 back, though, when they ran her against Colts, I mean, she kept right up close in the pocket. The winner of that race was really impressive and really never gave this filly a chance to get into it, but she was a good second that day as well, I thought.
Speak to Me as Summer, the number 2. I wonder if she gets lost a little bit in the wagering, takes a slight drift off of a 3-to-1 morning line. She's as rock solid as they come for Christophe Clement. You could argue in her 3 races, she hasn't had the most ideal trips in any one of them. And the wonder, again, her first start off a long laugh. She didn't break very well. Then she sat in behind a paceless race. And the winner's a nice horse, Sweet Melania. In the Lake Placid, she checked real hard, entering the first turn, and she still was able to win that race. And last time out in the Saratoga Oaks, she was really hard to settle at a distance that's, I think, a little far for her.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little far. And then, I don't think she was winning that race. Then she didn't really come with much of a finish in there, but just winding up last down on the inside in that race while Antoinette's controlling the pace. I mean, she never really had a fair chance in there. I don't think she ran that well last time, but the trip certainly didn't help. I don't know how good she is. She certainly runs some good races, and I do think she's a player in here. I just, we'll see. If she drifts off to 3-to-1, I have no argument with her, Dan. I'm struggling to decide how good I think she is.
Selflessly won the Grade 2 Miss Grillo at Belmont last year, and you rarely see Chad Brown pay $30 to win in a graded stakes race at Saratoga. He did with the 3 Selflessly. Let's watch this nice ride from David Cohen on Selflessly in the Lake George. Down on the inside, red and white cap is Selflessly, looking for a seam, looking for somewhere to run. It's got to stay inside. And now it's got to work out. And if it doesn't work out, David's going to get bashed. It works out beautifully, and Selflessly does the rest because she still has a lot of work to do, and she reels this horse in.
Yeah, good effort from this filly. And the ride that Cohen gave her had a lot to do with it, I thought, Dan. I mean, even, we picked it up in the stretch there where, he just stayed on the rail and followed Sweet Melania, who was the big favorite, into the race there and then gunned her down. But he actually made all the right moves from early on in that race. Just raided her right over to the inside from the start, followed the 3-to-5 favorite all the way around the track. And it worked out for him at the end. He deserves a lot of credit for that win. This filly could be pretty good, though, too, Dan. She's a multiple graded stakes winner. I don't think the distance is any problem for her. I think she makes a lot of sense in this race.
And I think she's reaching maturity at the right time. It's apparent she had her share of problems after a good 2-year-old season. She hasn't started very often this year at 3, but you got to look at her physically. It just looks like she's growing into herself right now. The 4 Giacosa, big step up in class here. James Bond's had a really nice year in 2020, but this filly's taking a big hike up from the New York bred ranks. Let's watch the race at Saratoga at this distance on August the 7th. And you see her in the Blue Silk's white noseband in behind horses. Tyler Gaffalione finds the spot. There it is. She shoots on through. Giacosa does the rest.
Yeah, got a really nice trip in this race. That trip really worked out for her, and she took advantage a little bit, although she was probably just the best horse in that race. She's actually pretty good. She's run well in basically all of her turf starts, Dan, but this is a huge step up in class for her.
Miss J McKay is consistent. 8 starts, 8 on the board finishes. Now she's kind of stepping up, not only in class, but distance. And I think that's going to be a bit of a question mark for her, although I do think she can work out a trip close to the pace. Let's watch her effort last time out in the Music City Stakes, coming off 4 bridesmaid finishes, and she's going to be a bridesmaid yet again. She's going to run second behind a Southern California Invader Lighthouse, who really fired this day. But you'll see Miss J McKay get up into second. It was a good effort for her. She's consistent. This is a step up in class.
It is, and the distance, I guess, is a real question for her. I mean, she just may not want to go this far. They've only sprinted her in her 8 starts so far, so I guess it's a real question. I don't know. I just feel like she's pretty good. She's 0 for 3 so far this year, but I personally think she's run really well in all 3 of her races, and she keeps taking steps forward. We'll see if she can take another one. She's going to have to take another one. I think this filly's pretty good, though.
Positive Power's 50-1 for a reason. She's 1 for 17 lifetime. The only win came in a 40,000 maiden claimer at Monmouth.
Yeah, and she was 35-1 that day. Will be a bigger price against this field.
Pure Wow, we expect her to make the lead, as we saw from the Timeform US Pace Projector. I guess if you want to make the argument, this is her 3rd race back from the break. Maybe she's rounding into form for a very good trainer. I think she needs a lot of things to happen. She needs that Timeform US Pace Projector to be spot on, and this pace to be not only blue, but royal blue from a pace standpoint.
Yeah, it just feels like she's going to need to catch a lot of breaks. Her 2 races since they brought her back from the layoff on turf, they're not terrible, Dan, but they're not going to make her beat this field.
Let's watch Drop a Hint's last race at Gulfstream Park against Stakes action, against Stakes Quality competition on September the 5th, going a 2 turn 7.5 furlongs. She stayed close to the pace at 15-1. The good news is she has to run down a 30-1 shot. The bad news is she doesn't.
Yeah, and not only doesn't she do it, she doesn't even really make it that close. Just another filly in this race who feels like she's going to be a huge price for connections who are just taking a shot here.
Take a look at our top picks in here. There are some real nice fillies in this race. And Tamahir's last race kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, she was okay over there, but she didn't look like a horse that was going to blow away stakes horses. Maybe she's gotten good right now. I think she's going to be pretty good. I'm going to pick her on top.
Yeah, I'm going to take her as well. I do like her last couple of races, and I especially like that she showed tactical speed. We'll see if she shows it here. Maybe she won't, but I think if she does, that will serve her very well. And at the end of the day, Dan, I just don't love either the 2 or the 3. I think they're probably the 2 most logical horses. I just don't love either one of them.
I'm going to try to get the 5, Miss J McKay, into the exacta. Again, she's very consistent. Of course, she'll win, and then I'll say, you got to be joking me. The Grade 2 Sands Point, race number 10 at Belmont Park is an approximate post of 5:20 Eastern. Best of luck.